Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Along the Beltway, our news and notes for this week. And we are again packed with information and news and previews for this week. This week, we're going to look at give you a preview of this Saturday's card at the ABC Sports Complex in Springfield, Virginia on Saturday, April 29th. That's the Victory Boxing Promotions card. And we'll give you a preview of that card as much as we know about this card going into this podcast today. We will also take a look back at the regional Golden Gloves, and I'll give you my best prediction for who I think are going to have a nice shot at winning a national title. First time we've won a national title in the Beltway since 2014. And we'll take our first real look at the May schedule. The May schedule is again packed and some great things in and out of the Beltway coming up in May. And also we'll give a special congratulations to a special boxer out of this area. And actually DC, well, we've congratulated him for a long time, but DC took it upon themselves, the city, to honor him on this past Tuesday. So just wanted to give our congratulations to that as well. Boxing on the Beltway News and Notes podcast brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain to muscle strain, and everything in between, Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. Don't forget you go to www.freepainoffer.com and buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. So, we're going to take a look at the April 29th card. It's the Victory Boxing, brand new promotion out of this area. But one of the people who's promoting this card is no stranger to this area because he's been around folks who were big names in this area. Of course, we're talking about Kenny Leonard, who is the brother of Sugar Ray Leonard and Roger Leonard, for that matter. And both, of course, Sugar Ray was arguably the greatest boxer ever come out of this area and one of the greatest boxers of all time, a Hall of Famer and 5-time world champion. Roger Leonard was no slouch in his own right back in the day as well. So Kenny Leonard leads Victory Boxing, and he'll have his main event. The bouts are primarily, actually, every bout is a 4-round bout on this card except for the main event. The main event features Mike Silverback Balogun. He is the undefeated Upper Marlboro, Maryland heavyweight, and he'll take on veteran Grover Young of Memphis, Tennessee in this contest. Balogun is 9-0, 8 KOs. He's knocked out his last 4 opponents, either the first or the second round. He had a crushing first-round TKO on his last outing over Brandon Lee Hinkle. That was on October 20th at the Mayflower Hotel in D.C. Now, I didn't see that live, but I did see the video on that. It was indeed a crushing knockout. And, of course, Balogun also, I guess for lack of a better term, made Luther Smith think about dropping down to the cruiserweight division because Balogun knocked out Smith in one of those those knockouts that he's had in his last 4 bouts. So he is 9-0, 8 KOs. We say going up against a veteran indeed in Grover Young, 12, 22, and 3 with 8 KOs. Grover Young, as we said, out of Memphis, Tennessee. Now he's winless in his last 9 bouts. He had a couple of draws in that stretch, but he has 5 straight losses. He lost a 10-round unanimous decision to Gregory Corbin back on January 28th in Tunica, Mississippi. Now Young has been fighting for quite some time. I think he goes back to like 2008, 2009. And he started off as a middleweight. In fact, in 2011, he lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Dominic Wade in Salisbury, Maryland. But as Young has moved up in weight, he has fought quality opposition along the way. He's fought the likes of Sergey Kovalev. He's fought Farah Ennis. He's fought current WBC super middleweight champion Badu Jack. And he fought as a heavyweight Malik Scott. Now, the last time Young fought in the Beltway region, he lost a 6-round majority decision to Dwayne McCray. That was back on November 1st, 2014 at Constitution Hall in D.C. That was the hometown takeover. And I remember that bout because I really thought Grover Young won that bout, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought he won that bout against McCray. I didn't think McCray fought all that well. And I thought Young might have stolen that one, gotten that away, but he didn't. And McCray won that bout. So it'll be an interesting test for Balogun to see where he is against a true veteran. I think he's one of the more experienced boxers that Balogun has faced in his career. Cornell Hines is making his pro debut. He's a welterweight out of Washington, D.C. He'll be a 4-rounder against Zachary Johnson. And Zachary Johnson is out of, I believe he's out of New York City. And actually, Johnson was scheduled to fight someone else on this card. He was scheduled to fight Jason Bell on this card. Zach Johnson's out of Rochester, New York. He is again making his pro debut. Cornell Hines is a guy who has been around the amateur for some time, but really hadn't risen to the elite level in the area, but been working and grinding for a long period of time. So it's good to see him finally make his pro debut. Once again, he'll take on Zachary Johnson out of Rochester, New York. Now, Jason Bell of the Bell twins is scheduled to be on the card. Jason Bell will actually take on George Shepard out of Newport News, Virginia. And that was actually the opponent that was scheduled to take on Jason's twin brother, Justin Bell. Apparently, Justin Bell, according to the most recent information I have, is now off this card completely. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. But Jason Bell is 1-0, 1 KO, scored a first-round TKO over David Rohn. That was back on the UDC card at the Physical Activity Center on March 25th. We had that card here on the Box on Beltway Google app for Android. So it looks like Jason Bell will take on George Shepard out of Newport News, Virginia. Justin Bell looks like he is now completely off this card. So any change about that, of course, we'll get that for you. Also, another local boxer is making his pro debut. He'll be in a light heavyweight bout. His name is Alton George Smith out of Atlanta, Maryland. I don't know much about him at all. I don't remember seeing him in the amateurs in the Golden Gloves. He is trained by one of the best Beltway boxers of all time. One of the great Beltway boxers, Andrew Council, is training him. So he should be good if Council's going to train him. And he'll take on Chris Yarborough out of Richmond, Virginia in a debut bout. Both of these guys making a pro debut. We also scheduled to have Mark Monster Johns on the card, Fort Washington, Maryland featherweight. He's 7-1-2, 6 KOs. And Silver Spring, Maryland welterweight, Samuel Amawako. He's the veteran, 21-14 and 21-14 with 15 KOs. They're both scheduled to be on this card. No word yet on their opponents. Also scheduled to be on the card, actually, who about on the card, Marcus Suarez. He's undefeated. He's 5-0-1, 1 KO. He'll come out of New York for the first time. He'll take on Matt Murphy out of St. Louis, Missouri in a 4-rounder. Matt Murphy is 2-11-1, 2 KOs. Suarez actually comes back to action for the first time since May of 2015 when he won a 4-round unanimous decision over Sidney Macau in Queens, New York. And again, all Suarez's previous bouts have been in New York. Murphy, we're trying to break a 3-bout losing streak. He'll compete. He'll be a busy boxer as he's fighting now for the 6th time in 2017. And once again, trying to break a 3-bout losing streak. So that bout is scheduled for 4 rounds. Also, Shaquem Hodge. This is a guy people have been talking about up in the tri-state area. He's out of Reading, Pennsylvania. He's a super middleweight prospect, 4-0, 3 KOs. He'll take on Austin Midkiff out of St. Louis, Missouri. And Midkiff is making his pro debut. And this is Hodge's second straight trip to the ABC Sports Complex. Now, back on December 10th, we had this card on the Box on the Beltway Google app for Android. He won a 4-round technical decision over Noe Lozano after Lozano suffered an injury because of an accidental headbutt. So they were halfway through the bout, so they went to the scorecards, and Shaquem Hodge, I believe, won by shutout going forward. So that's the card coming up on Saturday, April 29th. We're scheduled to be on the air at 6:55 p.m. Eastern Time for the 7 o'clock start of the card, brought to you by Victory Boxing from the ABC Sports Complex in Springfield, Virginia. If you can't be there, hope you join us right here on the Box on the Beltway Google app for Android. Now, I want to take a look back on last Saturday at the Regional Golden Gloves, an outstanding night of amateur boxing. And I think the team that will be going to Lafayette, Louisiana, starting on Sunday, April 30th through May 7th, will be a good team. But I believe there are 3 guys on the card that I believe had the best chance of bringing the Beltway its first national championship since 2014. The one I'll be most surprised if he doesn't do it is Troy Isley. Troy Isley was the outstanding boxer at the regionals this past Saturday. Of course, you heard the regionals on the Box on Belt with Google app for Android, and he did an outstanding job. For Ashton Sykes, who this is his first time in the open division after falling short in the novice division, moved up to open and just faced a guy who was just on a different level. I was going to say a buzzsaw, but it's more than that, really. Troy Isley is just on a different level. And as great as Ashton Sykes did compete in that bout, he wasn't on Troy Isley's level. Isley was doing just some different things. He was just he was pinpointing, as he told us after the bout. He was more patient and wasn't looking for the kill, just looking to land shots. And I think his experience, and we talked about this also after the bout, after the card was over, we talked about Isley's international experience that he gained recently in Germany, and I think that's going to be a big help come this coming week at the Golden Gloves. I don't know if too many boxers who will be in the Golden Gloves has seen that type of competition that Isley has seen. And Isley said the international competition makes it so that the USA competition is easy to face. And I think I'll be very shocked if he does not come back from Louisiana with a National Golden Glove championship. So that's my big pick to win a National Golden Gloves is Troy Isley. The second person I think might do it, and it all depends how well he handles more conventional and better talented boxers in his weight class, is Cenk Plana out of Hagerstown, Maryland. He's trained by legendary three-time world champion Simon Brown and had an outstanding Golden Gloves tournament, both throughout the tournament, leading into the Washington Championships, had a great Washington Championships, and had a very solid regionals as well, scoring stoppages in both situations. And Plana is just so unique to watch for a guy his size and his power. I mean, the way he has those hands down low and able to move those hands quickly to land shots. Again, whether or not people on a national level have seen that remains to be seen. But it'll be interesting to see what he does. I'll be curious to know what his results will be like going through the nationals. And again, guys who may be conventional but more talented in the nationals may give him a little bit of trouble coming up. But we'll have to wait and see. But again, on the same token, a guy like Plana, who can be awkward, who can be powerful from the way he fights, could give a lot of the boxers in the nationals some trouble as well. So he's a shot. I think he's a possibility. And another possibility definitely is Keyshawn Williams. Keyshawn Williams, according to his folks, won't be an amateur too much longer. There's a possibility he will turn pro very shortly after the Golden Gloves. So that may be his swan song. And so he'll look to go out in style at 152 pounds. And he's got the talent to do it. He's got quick hands, nice bit of power there. So he has a good shot. And so those are the guys I think have the best shots of winning some National Golden Glove titles. The other guys on the team, you got Malik Titus and a couple guys from Virginia, North Carolina, on the card as well. The whole list is on the Boxing on Beltway blog. So, but I think those three boxers, Troy Isley, who actually went to the finals last year in the Nationals, came very close to winning it last year. You have Troy Isley at 165 pounds, Cenk Plana at 178 pounds, and Keyshawn Williams at 152 pounds. Those are the guys I think have the best shot to give the Beltway its first national champion since 2014. So we wish them well. Of course, we'll be following their progress throughout the week on the Boxing on Beltway blog, and we'll give you some updates, hopefully, on podcast as well. Now let's take a look at May's schedule. Now, May's schedule, of course, is highlighted by the double header for the Beltway that we talked about last week, with Gervonta Davis facing Liam Walsh in London, England on May 20th. And, of course, Gary Russell Jr. defending his title against Oscar Escandón at the MGM National Harbor Casino. That's where we'll be, of course. We can also tell you on that card, we told you during the Regional Golden Gloves broadcast, Alexander Marine has been added to that card. So that's becoming a nice local showcase for us. Of course, those 3 big bouts we talked about last week, but with Kobe Abridi on the card, the other Russell brothers, Antonio and Antoine, and now Alexander Marine on the card, it looks like a very nice local showcase for us on this card on Saturday, May 20th. But prior to that, there's some big bouts coming up. One is outside the area, but is on arguably the biggest card of the year. And we have an update on a card. Actually, the first time we mentioned on the podcast, we mentioned it in the Regional Golden Gloves. And so I've got some updates on that. But that coming up to on Friday, May 12th at Michael's 8th Avenue, Glen Burnie, Maryland. But before we get there, let's talk about May 6th. And May 6th, of course, is the big card at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I don't talk about too many things outside the Beltway as far as boxing is concerned, but I had the chance to watch the HBO special they did, a Fighting Tradition special about the Canelo Alvarez, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. bout that will be the headliner on that May 6th card. And I'm excited because that special was outstanding. If you get a chance, please watch that. It was outstanding, no question about it. But it excites me even more that one of our local boxers will be on that card, and that's going to be, of course, Manuel Transformer Taylor, who will be on the card against Lucas Matisse, and that'll be on the pay-per-view broadcast. So that is outstanding. That could be Taylor's. I won't say it's hard to say because Matisse has not been the same Lucas Matisse that fought Lamont Peterson, for example. I think he's a little bit long in the tooth since that bout. So Taylor, I think, has a chance to beat Matisse in this situation. And I think if for some reason he loses that bout, it does not hurt him, however, because Matisse is such a well-known name. But, of course, a win would really help Taylor at this stage in his career, because every time Taylor has kind of moved into the elite aspect of his opponents, he has not fared well, with the exception. And even though he lost the bout, I still believe he fared very well against Adrian Broner. I thought he fought outstandingly against Adrian Broner in that loss and really had Broner on the run in the first half of the bout. But this is a big stage for Taylor, and it's a huge situation, huge opportunity for Emmanuel Transformer Taylor. That's on Saturday, May 6th from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada on the undercard. I think it's the bout that will open the telecast, the pay-per-view telecast featuring Julio Cesar Chavez and Canelo Alvarez, Julio Chavez Jr. and Canelo Alvarez. Then on Friday, May the 12th, we talked about this again on the Regional Golden Gloves broadcast, but I did a little backstory on that particular bout coming up. Friday, May 12th has an outstanding main event. And this is one of the better main events. This has the potential to be one of the better main events we've had in this area outside the huge cards that we've had. And that's when Nick Kisner, out of Baltimore, Maryland, puts his NABA USA Cruiserweight Championship, NABA USA Cruiserweight Championship against a former champion, former holder of that belt. And that's Alex Guerrero out of Salisbury, Maryland. Now, looking back on those two guys, I had a chance to remember that they had fought each other before, not as pros, but as amateurs. In fact, they have 2 bouts that they fought each other, and Kisner won both bouts in those matchups. So they're familiar with each other. And of course we fought at amateurs. So again, amateurs, you're not totally relying on power, but this is a huge opportunity for both guys, but especially for Alex Guerrero. Now, Alex Guerrero suffered his first loss as a pro in his last bout, and I think that was way back in 2015. He has not fought since, and I believe he lost a opportunity to continue with the Bella Entertainment on that card because of that loss at Resorts World Casino. So this is a big bout, and again, a chance to get a little bit of revenge on Nick Kisner. Nick Kisner tends to make bouts harder than they should be. And if he does that against Guerrero, he could have some problems. No question about that. It's a nice matchup for the area. And I think whoever does not win this bout has a tough time going on in his career going forward. So that is the main event, Friday, May 12th at Michael State Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. We plan to have the call of that one as well. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a great one. No question about that. Friday, May 12th, a dangerous Donald Wall is scheduled to be on that card as well. And I've heard that out of Front Royal, Virginia, Matthew Boogeyman Bolding will be on that card. He's 4-0 now, since last time we saw him. So that's the card coming up on Friday, May 12th from Michael State Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. So we'll have to call for that if you can't be there, but you need to be in the place for that one. That is a good main event for the area. I don't think there's a crossroads bout at this point, but I do believe that one guy will definitely take a huge step back on May 12th, if whoever loses that bout. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk more about that card a little bit later on. And of course, May 20th, we've talked about, again, with Gary Russell Jr., Feinstein, Oscar Ekendone, and everything else that's going on. So May's a huge month. Of course, we have the Masonic Temple card. We'll talk more about that in the next couple weeks as well, May 13th from the Masonic Temple in Norfolk, Virginia. Won't be able to be at that card, but we'll definitely a lot of local guys, a lot of Virginia guys on that card. I know Matthew Abregu's on that card. I think Seth Billups will be on that show. So we'll talk more about that in the weeks to come. I believe Tori Nelson's on that show. I'm not exactly sure of that. So we shall see. But again, May. Every now and then we get a chance to call May, the magnificent May along the Beltway, and I think we've got another one coming up this May. So we'll talk more about that in the next couple of weeks. Finally today, tremendous honor to a tremendous boxer and a representative for this city. Gene Wong of the Washington Post wrote a great article on the event talking about, again, the history of Lamont Peterson. And of course, his brother Anthony as well, and coming from homelessness to where especially Lamont has been, and where hopefully Anthony will be very soon. The championships and respect that both these guys have. I mean, they're two class acts involved with a class trainer and class family with Barry Hunter and the Harris brothers and Cologne Hunter, Barry's wife. And the whole Headbanger crew there. I mean, you're talking just tremendous class acts there. No question about that. Lamont Peterson, this past Tuesday, as we record this, was honored by the mayor of the city of Washington, D.C. That's the Honorable Muriel Bowser, and was honored with Lamont Peterson Day, April 25th, 2017, Lamont Peterson Day in Washington, D.C. at the ceremony right in front of the Washington Convention Center, which, of course, was very special considering that was the site of arguably Lamont Peterson's biggest win in his career. I wouldn't say arguably. I think it is his biggest win in his career when he defeated Amir Khan in November 2011 for the WBA and the IBF junior welterweight titles. That was a great night. That was one of my all-time favorite nights in Beltway boxing. I mean, it is so much that I can say about it. Now, one day I'll have to do a podcast on that night because there was a lot of emotion with that night. Of course, a lot of anger from the Khan folks, but it's something I need to go into later on. I won't do it now, but I'll go into it maybe somewhere down the road. But anyway, Lamont Peterson was honored by the city. And this is not the first time he's been honored by the city, though. The D.C. City Council back in 2009 honored him with a similar proclamation and day. But again, he deserves every honor he can get because he's a humble young man. Again, coming from a situation, he and his brother come from situations that many people would not be able to come from. I mean, their toughness inside, their attitude outside, they're just first class people, and Lamont deserves every accolade he can get. And I'm just so proud. I'm proud of him. You know, he's the first Beltway boxer that I have ever seen, that I saw from the amateurs make it all the way to a championship. And he's the only one of two boxers, Beltway boxers, the other being Torrey Nelson, to be named Beltway Boxer of the Year twice. I mean, he is one of the all-time greats already. As he said at the event, he's got a few years left, but right now, in my opinion, he's one of the all-time great Beltway boxers. When you look at him, he's right up there with Joppy and Holmes. The only two above him really are Mark Johnson and Sherry Leonard and Simon Brown, because they've won. Well, actually, technically, Lamont has won 3 world titles. He was a WBO interim champion, but Simon fought the best of the best, and of course Mark is in the Hall of Fame. So I think he's a shade under those two guys, but he's right up there with Joppy and Holmes and Shambe Mitchell and Chop Chop Corley and all the great champions we've had over the past, in my 30 years of doing this, 30 plus years of doing this. And it's been a pleasure to watch his career from his amateur days all the way through his world championships. And of course, he won a national Golden Glove along with his brother Anthony did. And the first time I had a chance to see the Peterson brothers in action was at the Platinum Gloves. And one day I'm gonna have to do I don't know if I've ever done a podcast on that tournament. I think it's the single greatest amateur boxing night I've ever spent. The Platinum Gloves a few years ago, many years ago now, at the old Washington Convention Center. There was a who's who of boxers in that area, in that situation, not only from this area, but from around the country and around the world, in that particular event. And a lot of our great boxers have come out of it. I mean, actually, I know off the top of my head, there were 2 world champions off of that card. And that was Gary Russell Jr. and Lamont Peterson. I think Dominic Wade was on that card, definitely. Saddam Ali, who was a former world champion. I guess you can say 3 that I know of. And if I look back and looked at the video, a lot of the video, I believe, is still on YouTube after all these years. So you just put in Platinum Gloves, I think 2001. And you can look at some of the video from there. And again, it's a who's who of boxers who are now big stars. So it was really fun to be a part of that. And I had a chance to do the play-by-play broadcast. I had a lot of great people working with me. I was working with the Fight Dr. Joan Spears. We had Vincent Petway as our main announcer, but we had the likes of DeMarcus Corley. We had, I think Shambe did a couple bouts. Glenn Harris did a couple bouts, and it was tremendous. Speaking of Glenn Harris, let me just kind of segue just off a little bit. Congratulations to Glenn Harris, who's being inducted into the DC Sports Hall of Fame here in this area. And I've talked about Glenn and how much he means to me, so I'm not going to go into that as much now. But we just found out about that award, and he's now actually has moved to North Carolina. Just turned 70 this past week, and he's moving now to North Carolina to be with his son Jason. He has some medical issues, and his son Jason's going to care for him at this point. But I know he'll be back for the DC Sports Hall of Fame ceremony, which I believe will be in the fall during a Nats game. They'll be there. So congratulations to him. But again, when you're around great people, again, Lamont Peterson, Glenn Harris, just great people, just 2 of the many great people that I've been blessed to be around and learn from and see grow over the years. So I appreciate that. So congratulations once again to Lamont Peterson for, again, a well-deserved honor that he received. And he's waiting to see where he stands as far as his possibility against Keith Thurman. He's a WBA mandatory, but Thurman, we find out, has a WBC mandatory as well. So who knows? Now that Sean Porter has beaten Andre Berto, he's a mandatory for Keith Thurman. So where he stands in this, I don't really know right now. So we'll see what happens. But congratulations once again to Lamont Peterson. That will do it for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. Remember, Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. I'm Gary Digit Williams. Thanks for joining me, everybody. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you on Saturday, April 29th from the ABC Sports Complex in Springfield, Virginia. We're on the air at 6:55 p.m. Eastern Time for the 7 o'clock start. Until then, thanks for listening, everybody, and always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Take care.